I did this too early, and now it's finished as we're going on the air. Hi, YouTube. All right, I'll put the links up. Well, hi, everybody.
What's up? YouTube, Google, Plus, everything in between.
My name is Hugh Hauser.
For those of you who have Charter cable, it sucks balls.
Don't, actually. So
big, sweaty balls.
Balls. Like a ball.
Balls.
Coma. Don't type coma. I almost posted the link to the Hangout with Coma Watch, which is a completely different thing. Publish. Share. It's too hot. I'm sweaty. I hate that.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you have any idea how much Olympics I've watched?
No.
Fucking none.
Okay.
No interest. I did, however, watch a train go live into a car outside the Belltime Club.
Oh, shit. How'd that end up?
Car lost.
Yeah.
In the battle of car versus train, the car fucking lost.
So Sal decided that the first voicemail he was going to send us this week was just going to be him playing Bobby Roode's theme song off his phone. Needless to say, it came through like garbage, and so we're not going to be playing that one on the air.
You mean to tell me it wasn't glorious?
It was not glorious at all. Although Glorious Bomb is my favorite thing in wrestling this week.
I told you.
Fantastic.
Tommaso and Johnny won the internet for the week for sure.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. We can talk about that. Because I have like nothing to talk about this week.
They had like 18 pages of news.
No, that's how many pages of news I had to go through before I'd be ready to. That was the unread news to go through.
Gotcha.
I have one story.
Yeah, a couple things. So.
And then our TV talk. So, yeah. You ready?
I think so. I feel like we kind of screwed the YouTube and Google crowd because this was a shitty pre-show.
Stay tuned, friends. We've got voicemail. We've got
bitching about my cable box and you complaining about. Oh, hold on. Let me mute the TV here. Now the cable box fucking works. Good job. Thanks, Charter. He's a dick. On the plus side, I have preseason football working now, so we're good.
Okay. I have Crystal Pepsi in the fridge, so.
Am I supposed to be recording here?
I'm doing pretty good myself. Not yet. Okay. I went to Target and they had Crystal Pepsi out, so I grabbed like 4 bottles.
Shit, did they have crystal meth?
Power thirst. It's like crystal meth in a can. Power thirst is crystal meth in a can. Power thirst is crystal meth.
I have found crystal meth in almost every Target I've gone to.
What?
Yeah. They have almost all the CDs.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean, some people call them the crystal method, but we're friends, so I call them crystal meth for short.
Yeah, their nickname among their posse.
Right. That's how we roll.
I used to work in a CD store, so I guess you could say I sold crystal meth back in the day.
So did I.
I worked at Strawberries Music and Video.
I worked at Sam Goody's, then I worked at Strawberries.
I worked at Strawberries until they closed the Strawberries.
Yes, me too.
And it was great because December 24th, I had spent basically the entire day putting up the signs for the after Christmas sale. And then December 25th, I came in and all my fucking signs were down. I was like, what the hell? Oh, we're closing the store. It's like, oh, Merry Christmas. Okay.
I worked at Sam Goody till they closed, and then I worked at Strawberries, actually slightly before they closed.
Then I got a job at the toll booth.
Toll booth, Willie.
I worked at a toll booth for like 3 months. Anyway.
Did you welcome people to Worcester Pop?
No, it was Hampton.
It
definitely wasn't $1.25.
Did you say hi to Cody Ward?
No, I didn't know him at that point.
Yeah.
It was a better time then.
Yes, better time for all of us. Actually, the highlight of the APW year was Cody moving to fucking California. Love you, Cody. Not that you're watching.
No, please. Okay. Are you ready?
I hope so.
Okay.
I've got crystal meth and everything. Let's roll.
This is 258 in 3, 2, 1, record. More likely to appear on SmackDown Live than Shelton Benjamin. This is episode 258 of The Rundown. You know what comes next?
I still like Shelton's chances better than ours. Theme song!
Thank you. Womp womp.
See how I stole your gimmick like that?
That's fine, whatever.
Because I'm a dick.
I know. Hello, everyone. My name is Adam. I'm your host. It is Thursday, August 11th, 2016. This is 258, as I said before. Jason.
Do you think anybody at home gives a frig which number of the podcast this is? We'll just tell them it's the rundown. The numbers we can work out later. They don't care.
Have you picked up your copy of Scooby-Doo and WWE Curse of the Speed Demon yet?
I have not. I will at some point, if I find the need to defecate on a DVD box, I might pick one up.
You can, if you want to be fancy, you can defecate on a Blu-ray box.
There you go. Well, you know me, I'm all about the fanciness.
Yes. This week's episode of The Rundown, for those of you watching at home, brought to you by Baron Strowman's. Sorry, that's the next bit. Baron Corbin's belly button.
Yes.
Brunch Strowman.
This is going to be the gimmick wall going forward.
It's going to be great. It would be better if we didn't mention it, but it's funny enough that I'm going to mention it this week and just see if anybody notices when they watch.
I've already got ideas for future weeks, so
excellent.
Stay tuned.
Fantastic. You can also put something over the air hockey table back here and see. You can do something back there too.
I might actually get a couple of people just be randomly playing air hockey in the background. That's might be something that happens in the future. I want to apologize right off the bat to Sal, who personally requested Alexa Bliss back there this week. That'll be something that'll happen in the future. But my son requested Baron Corbin's belly button, and no offense, Sal, but my son outranks you.
Jackson wins.
Yes,
Jackson wins.
Yeah.
Brunch Strowman. That was the best we got last week. It wasn't great.
It was definitely a C- week on the Google Chat transcript last week.
We'll see what we get this week from the voicemails.
It was certainly no Veronica the fuck.
Let's start with this one.
Oh, we're going right to voicemails.
Hey, what's up, Rundown? Here today to talk to you about Monday Night Raw. To start off, I really don't like the new theme songs for either show. They are terrible. They are literally possibly the worst theme songs they've ever had to open Raw and open SmackDown. Like,
fucking better than Nickelback.
SmackDown. They should have left that one alone. I know it was time for a new Raw song, but I actually enjoyed the SmackDown song. But we start off Raw with a amazing promo battle between Enzo and Cass and Jericho and Kevin Owens. And as much as I'd like to see Kevin Owens elevated, this feud is going to be a lot of fun, just for the promos alone. You know, that all those guys can talk. You know, obviously, Enzo's got the gift of gab. But I really enjoyed it. what was it that I enjoyed? Well, I enjoyed it. And also, I think Jericho's doing some really great work. The little mustache and beard that he's got going on with the scarf kind of looks like a short-haired blonde Aiden English. No, he's being hilarious. It's funny, on a show that they said that Cesaro was underutilized, he was featured prominently in 2 pretty good-timed matches, so good for him. At least Daniel Bryan was there when Daniel Bryan had mentioned, and Mick Foley had said that they're not going to invade anymore. That was it. So maybe that buttons that up. The wedding segment went on way too long. Way too long. Glad Lana got cake all over her face. But Raw was okay. I mean, next week is the go-home, so we'll see what happens next week. I didn't know that half the roster was over doing a foreign show, so that's why there was no Sami Zayn. That's why Finn Balor wasn't there. Although I did enjoy Finn Balor sitting on his throne, reading his Irish myths. That actually was some of the best shit I've ever seen from Finn Balor since he's been in America. Other than that, I'm sure Tommy will call and talk about SmackDown, and then maybe one of us will call and talk about NXT and the CWC. But I'll talk to you guys next week.
Just so Sal is aware, because he and I apparently disagree on a lot of stuff this week, but we'll get into more of that. But just, I'm not sure if Sal knows this, but the NXT run was not like Finn Balor's first trip to America. He's been here before. He's been here frequently. Prince Devitt wrestled quite a bit in America before he got signed to NXT. So you know.
That's not what he said. He just said Finn Balor. And just no, Finn Balor ain't been wrestling since before NXT.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I guess if you want to limit it to just Finn Balor.
I do have to admit, I have not read your 3 Up, 3 Down yet this week.
Fuck you.
I will have to get over to questendnetwork.com and check that out.
The award-winning 3 Up, 3 Down column.
I apologize. But
well,
yeah.
I'm sure I will reference it several times throughout this show and tell you everything I said about it.
Perfect.
So might save you some reading, although reading is fundamental, so I would suggest you do it.
Of course.
And if you need to read something, I might suggest the award-winning 3 Up, 3 Down column on the Quest On Network, questonnetwork.com, for all your questionable endeavors. How was that for a tagline? I'll have to run that by Andy.
I kind of ended kind of abruptly, but you know.
Yeah. West End, better than Beefcase. Go ahead.
Do you think Little Jimmy or Little Johnny know what it is?
Are we talking about like R-Truth's Little Jimmy?
Yes. And John Heidenreich's Little Johnny.
Or are we talking about Titus O'Neil's Little Jimmy?
Different story. Hey, look, Sal's on the side. He says, honestly, didn't know how much he was in the USA prior to NXT. Thought he'd been in NJPW for 7 years.
No, actually, if you want to really wet your whistle, I believe you can search YouTube and find a Prince Devitt versus Daniel Bryan match, or Bryan Danielson match.
There you go.
Which is something worth checking out.
There you go, Sal. Check that out.
And if you want to check out, based on this week's Cruiserweight Classic, another great match, YouTube recommendation, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kota Ibushi is a phenomenal match from Wrestle Kingdom 9. So go out and grab that one.
We'll get to CWC in a little bit. Holy shit. But okay.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
It was pretty fantastic.
Yes, it was. Okay.
Monday Night Raw. Like we talked about in the host chat.
It happened. Let's go. Let's move on.
As we talked about in the host text chat thing, if you're gonna have half the roster overseas, just send the whole fucking roster overseas and have Raw from overseas.
Here's a note for the WWE in general. When you are 2 weeks out of your second biggest pay-per-view of the year, don't send half your fucking crew away overseas and make them unavailable for television.
Yeah.
Just saying. That was quite possibly the worst. I would say it's the second worst Raw, only to the 4th of July episode.
Here's how struggling they were on Raw this week. The local talent that faced Braun Strowman got a fucking entrance.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I would suggest that you not go back and watch that episode of Raw. If you didn't see it, don't bother.
Sal says,
if you didn't see it, what you should do is go to questonnetwork.com, read the 3 Up, 3 Down column, the award-winning 3 Up, 3 Down column, and I will I'll clue you in on everything you need to know. Sorry,
that's all I need to know. Sal says, I have seen Wrestle Kingdom 9 match. They showed it on Access TV earlier this year. It was awesome to have me skip to voicemail. No, I didn't. You trying to send Glorious through the voicemail off your phone sounded like absolute garbage. So we're not playing it on the show. Nice try. Trying to Glorious bomb the show, which, by the way, greatest thing on the internet this week. If you haven't seen it, look it up. Find it.
Go to Twitter, type in hashtag Glorious Bomb, all one thing.
Enjoy.
And yes. You can skip the fan-submitted ones. I would stick just to the Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. If you don't see Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano in the video right off the bat, then it's fake. And don't waste your time.
I think my favorite one was the one where Bobby Roode is in bed, and it just starts in complete darkness with the song.
The funny part about that one was I think that he forgot. Like, I don't know, there was a moment where he started to get up, and I think he's like, oh, crap, yeah, I'm not wearing pants. And they were like, no, I think my favorite one was the bathroom stall one. That was...
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, yeah, that was the newest one.
I got to check that one out. I saw bedroom. I saw elevator. The elevator was the first one that I saw, and it was amazing.
NXT bus.
It's amazing. Oh, I saw that one too. So great.
But yeah, no, the bathroom stall one is I think it's the latest one they did.
I'll check that one out.
And sadly, an update, just to update all of our viewers, Johnny said he got a Glorious Bomb video sent to him by his grandmother and his mother, who don't watch wrestling, which means he knew it was time to end it. So I believe we may have seen the last of the Glorious Bomb. Personally, I hope not, but you never know.
Damn. Okay.
My son wants me to yell theme song. He apparently missed the beginning of the show. I already did that. So hold your horses, Jackson. What the hell was that?
I'm not sure.
So as we record the show, the Olympics are actively going on. They do have Greco-Roman wrestling back in the Olympics this year. So while Adam fixes his microphone or whatever I don't know what he just did, but I will say Adam has been. I don't know if that was accidental or fortuitous, but Adam just told us all to go to hell. Yeah, so Adam is apparently watching a lot of the Olympics, but he doesn't really have any skin in the game other than to cheer against all of the Asian countries. That's all he's doing, besides trying to fix his microphone.
I think it's an issue with my microphone. The problem is I can't hear you right now.
Oh, well, see, he can't hear me, which means I can say pretty much anything I want. But yeah, so this is amazing television, and I'm sure he's going to edit this right out of the podcast, except he won't at all. So yeah, Adam actively rooting against all of the Asian countries in the Olympics, and that is why he's watching them. Can you hear me? You suck. You suck?
You suck.
Okay, you can't hear me. Okay. I was just filling in everybody how you watch the Olympics only to root against the Asian countries.
God damn it. Is it still making that noise?
What noise? No, it sounds okay now.
Okay, good.
This is a riveting fucking podcast so far.
Fucking technology making me edit shit.
All right, let's give you a clean edit point here. Ready? All right, cool. Yeah, so just leave the stuff about the Asian countries, and I thought that was comedy gold. All right.
Anyway. The fuck were we talking about? I don't even know at this point. We're talking about Glorious Bombs.
Yeah, we were on Glorious Bomb. I think we were just about done with the Glorious Bomb discussion.
Yes.
Yeah. So Sal touched on Raw. I don't know. Like I think I said, it was probably the worst episode of Raw I've seen in quite a while since the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm. The Rusev Lana thing went on about 20 minutes too long.
You sound like Buffalo Bill right now.
God damn it.
Are you going to tell me to put the lotion in the basket? Because seriously, you sound like you just kidnapped Liam Neeson's kid.
We might have to stop and start over.
This is gold stuff. You just edit it out later. Figure it out. We'll move on.
Well, I might have to restart my computer.
Oh crap! Actually, it sounds kind of sexy. You might want to just stick with that voice every week now.
God damn it! Shut up. Oh hell.
Well, I feel bad for all of us, our fans watching on live on YouTube and Google Plus, because Adam just really boned you guys. Oh my goodness! I'm not even going to tell you what my son just texted me to say to you. Oh my lord! I'm going to have a talk with that child. I think it might be based on my my lower third, so it might be my fault. But you good?
I don't know. Maybe. Does it sound fine?
It's got really loud for a second, but that's when it broke. So talk now. Maybe it's better.
Do I sound normal?
Much better. There we go.
Okay. Let me try plugging into this again and see if this fucks up.
You found much. You've got it working, and now you're going to intentionally go and try to break it? Seriously?
No. Okay. We're good.
You sound a lot less sexy now, though.
Damn.
I'm losing wood here. So, yeah, Raw. I guess I'll just go off of my column, the award-winning 3 Up, 3 Down column, because that's probably my most memorable moments from the show. So, yeah, Sal touched on the opening promo with Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Enzo, and Cass. What was your take on that?
Given that I don't remember much of what happened, I can't really answer the question. Nothing really stood out to me. Except for,
ladies and gentlemen, Adam brought his A game to tonight's podcast. I'm just telling.
Except for the great Jim and Marvin Lutter.
Sal with the comment of the night so far. Yeah, no, I thought the promo was actually a little disappointing. I expected more from these guys going into when I saw them coming out and they're going to do the full promo. Kevin Owens seemed almost lost in the shuffle, which was a little weird to me. He's usually pretty good at making himself front and center. He really took a backseat to Jericho and didn't contribute much in the promo discussion. Very, 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 very disappointed that guys as clever on the mic and with the smack talk as Enzo and Cass really had to resort to a veiled remark of Jericho and Owens being gay. I really think
I do remember that. Yeah,
I really think it's unnecessary at this point. I put it in the column. I think you could tell that's one of those moments you can tell that the guy sitting there writing the script is a 70-year-old guy who's completely out of touch of why that's not okay anymore.
Especially given the fact that they've had issues with that in the past and they've been called out for that shit with John Cena of all people.
Well, and I don't know if this is in your news item, so I don't mean to jump the shark here, but if you recall, I don't know if you saw it, but there's a column that came out today that Stephanie McMahon made a big push that they want to incorporate, transgenders and homosexuals into the characters and make them front and center.
The quote is, we will integrate LGBT characters into our programming, and I do think there will be an opportunity to integrate some of those storylines in the near future. We've had GLAD come in and speak to our entire writing team and give a whole tutorial on sensitivities, the right words, the wrong words, and why those words matter. I think that with their guidance and support, we'll be able to portray that appropriately.
And I have to assume that tutorial happened on Tuesday because
no shit.
It shit didn't happen before Monday.
You know what this means? Throwing it over to the Raw Attitude podcast with our friend Henry Hugepex. This means for this we could get the return
of the artist Human Duplex?
Of the artist formerly known as Goldust. I get nothing for that. All right, fine.
I'm sorry, my son texted me. He wants us to talk about sexual chocolate. I'm not sure why. Anyway, Jackson's taking over the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So I was disappointed in that, and I thought, but the opening segment for me was saved in my 3 Up by, yes, Sal, I hope so. My 3 Up, 3 Down column, as I said, the segment was saved for me by Kevin Owens during the exit from the ring after the match was over. I thought the match was okay. It was nothing special. It didn't stand out for me. But what did stand out for me was as they're walking up the aisle, Kevin Owens, without a microphone, just towards the ring, yelling, "We're doing just fine. We're winners. That's how we're doing." And then after the challenge is made, Cass does I'm going to spell it out for you. Kevin Owens, again, without a mic, just yelling, That's not even how you spell the word.
I missed that. That must have been when I was running to Target. I missed that.
That was by far the highlight of that segment for me, and perhaps the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
I did give. I can't remember if it was Jericho or Owens, but I give them props for saying Enzo goes out of the house looking like a cat who got stuck in a bathtub. I thought that was a great. I thought that was a good line. But
yeah, it just the segment kind of fell flat. I guess maybe I had really high anticipation of it, but
yeah. Sal says so. HLA will come back, which is what you just said. I hope so.
Yes.
Sean Kogos Sean said, "Did someone say Raw Attitude Podcast?" We did with our friend Henry Hugepex. He suplex the wrong human duplex only on the Quest End Network. Check out episode.
Is it 18? I think
I'm going to say
19. 19 coming up
with a special guest.
Yes.
Should be up on Monday.
Yes.
So can
we play spoiler and tell them who the special guest is?
I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait for the comment on the side to see if it's okay.
Sean, check in with Henry, see if it's okay if we make the big announcement as to the special guest host.
And Sal says, "Yes, co-ghost Sean is here." Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. So yeah,
I want to throw this out there. We have 4 viewers right now. I think that's the most we've ever had. Okay.
There you go. I'm just saying, our since I've joined the show, Adam, our viewership has gone up, our listens and downloads have gone up. Clearly, this guy equals ratings. I'm putting my face all up in the YouTubes, and that's a thing I just said. Okay, on to my next, at least, highlight from Raw was the I don't know if you saw the Brock Lesnar Randy Orton video package. I thought very, very well done. I caught
the very beginning of it, and then I had to run out, so I did not.
Did you watch any of Raw? You know, we're going to discuss these shows, Adam. The least you can do is watch the shows.
I watched the show. I watched the show.
Except any of the parts we're talking about. Anyway, so yeah, it was a very well done package. I think obviously Lesnar wasn't going to be there, so they did a good job of making him feel relevant. And I think Lesnar really excels in these sit-down interviews that are much more like UFC style, where they're back and forth, where he can talk like a badass. And I thought Orton,
you know that is running down your leg.
Yeah.
P.S.
Yeah, I thought Orton came across really well, and I just thought it added a lot to the feud. And they touched on the fact that they came out of the same class in OVW, which I happen to know. Also, they came out with Cena. For those who don't know, that was one of the greatest classes in the history of the WWE's developmental program. Right. But they didn't. I wasn't sure if they were going to mention it, and I thought the fact that they did was nice. I thought it added to the story and made for a nice touch.
Kogo Sean says, "Thanks for the plug," is what Henry told me to say, and he doesn't mind you revealing the guest co-host is Triple H. It's not. Don't lie to the people.
He got the first letter right.
It's just as good. The first 2 letters. It's just as good as Triple H.
Yes. So, in any event, to answer my. I don't want my son to take over this whole episode, but he did text me asking where the raccoon was. I can't tell you where Raccoon Reigns is tonight. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to deal with me and Adam. That's what you get this evening.
He's a very busy mammal.
Yes. So, yeah, that was this. And I guess we don't really need to discuss that video package since you didn't watch it. So, I guess you can. How about the club promo? Did you watch that? Or were you out at Walgreens?
Is that the one they dressed as doctors?
Yes.
That was good.
Yes.
Yes, I did see that.
So, yeah, that was they did a good job there. Typically, I mean, for those of you who didn't see it, basically it worked up. It worked out to...
Your son is literally taking over the show, and he's not even in the room. Not even in the room. He
just found out the Raccoon Reigns wasn't here, and he just texted me, that sucks. Okay, so this is my 6-year-old son, ladies and gentlemen. Who, by the way, should be going to bed and not watching the show because the language is not appropriate for you.
Inappropriate.
Yes. So in any event, for those of you who didn't catch it, the segment was basically...
She says, "I'm putting the kid to bed. Make him find out live." Bwaha. Sean says, "Raccoon Reigns is where he usually is, hanging out in the dumpster behind Guy Fieri's American Bar, where people frequently throw out entire meals."
Oh, man. This episode is turning into a bigger train wreck than the Belltime Club incident this afternoon.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So in any event, we had Doc Gallows. Now we can call him Doc because he was playing doctor this week. Or should we say Blue Gallows?
Doc Blue.
Yes. And Carly Anderson together in lab coats discussing ring postitis, which is basically what they gave Big E by driving his nutsack into the ring posts.
And Carl Anderson holding a jar with 2 eggs in an unidentified liquid.
Yes. I can probably identify that liquid for you, but...
Is it piss?
But yeah, I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it. I laughed. It was obviously, dick and fart jokes, but that's okay with me once in a while. I really hope that's not what this group becomes. I like them as badass ass-kicking types. I think that's where they should stay. If he wants to throw in a hot Asian wife every now and then, that's fine with me. I know Adam hates it, but it's okay. I enjoy it, but I don't want them to become a comedy act. That's my only real concern with that.
Right. And Sean says your son is very smart when it comes to his preferred choice of guest co-host.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying the YouTube views didn't spike before I got here, so Reigns was doing something wrong.
Raising him right. We did get a tag match with Neville and Sin Cara.
Oh, fuck that. That was in 3 down.
What the fuck did Neville do to deserve that?
He happened to not go on the tour, I think, is what happened.
Yeah. And then the wedding celebration. That was a week late.
I will say this about the Neville Sin Cara team. Towards the end of the match, they teased a little dissension with the Dudleys, and if that leads to the Bully Ray, the split and the Bully Ray run, I am absolutely 100% on board.
Okay. Yeah, I immediately...
By the way, line of the night on Raw this week goes to Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever the fuck he's calling himself these days, for simply uttering the line to the New Day, "How's Ease Nuts doing?" Which is, as you can see below, where I get my tagline for this week. But yeah, that's not a phrase I think I've ever asked another grown man.
No. Your wife likes Neville with the beard.
Yes.
Okay.
My wife likes likes dudes with beards.
I tweeted 2 things immediately at the beginning of the Rusev Lana thing. First one was not the Macho Man Elizabeth song doesn't count. And the second one,
the Macho Man and Elizabeth song was also the Stephanie McMahon and Test song.
Yeah.
And they reused it.
And she says, and the wedding spot was stupid. So stupid. And I said, how many of those cakes end up in Lana's face? Sadly, the answer was only one, but it led to possibly the greatest YouTube thumbnail of all time, because it was watching a couple other videos and it was on the side in my recommended videos, and it took me, like, at first glance, it literally looked like she was on fire. Well, it looked like Lana engulfed in flames. Anyway.
So let's not pretend that's the first time Lana's had her face frosted by a bunch of dudes in a wrestling ring.
Hey-o!
But that said, it sucked. There was a lot of bad in it. There were a couple of good points to it, just small little things that I enjoyed, surprisingly enough, by Roman Reigns. Little one-off lines, for example, when Rusev started taking his shirt off and Reigns like, whoa, 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 put the beef away. I thought that was funny. I mean, people consider the mail order bride bit I thought was kind of funny, but most of it was bad.
I made the mistake of looking for logic in it, saying if you don't care that they weren't there when she was telling the fans, why would you do it again? And also, was it me, or was Lana having a little bit of trouble with the accent?
Yes. I had quite a bit of trouble with the accent. Why didn't Rusev wear a tuxedo? Rusev couldn't find a tuxedo that fit Sal. That's why he didn't wear one.
They only wear beige vests in Bulgaria. Yes. Does Lana do? You can answer this. Does Lana do the fake accent on Total Divas?
I haven't seen they've only filming it. They haven't aired any of those episodes yet. I was actually curious to find out that same thing. Now, here's an interesting question.
And one more comment. This is what Dolph Ziggler was fighting for, you guys. Back last summer.
Huh?
With the whole Rusev Dolph, Summer Rae, Lana, horseshit.
Oh God, I had put that completely out of my fucking mind. Thank you for ruining it for me.
This is what Dolph Ziggler was fighting for.
Yeah, I waiting to see if they carry that over to Total Divas. But was it just me? It looked like when they were showing the wedding pictures, there was one picture of Lana coming out of a building or something, and it looked like it was like one of the Bellas behind her. I don't know if it was Nikki or Brie. I don't know if it was or if it was like somebody else, but it looked like one of the Bellas. And I'm like, hey, fucking kayfabe, people, Jesus.
He wasn't paying close enough attention. So Roman comes out to help them renew the...
Ladies and gentlemen, so far, for those of you who have just joined us, Adam didn't watch half the segments and wasn't paying attention to the ones he did watch. So what else do you have to say about Raw, Adam? What
Roman comes out about 20 minutes too late to help them renew their marriage vows. And then drinks champagne on live TV. Hooray.
After a wellness violation.
That was fucking terrible. Sean says, I will note that the most recent episode with Raccoon Reigns has the largest number of YouTube views according to the Rundown's YouTube page. Raccoon equals ratings. Beige vests in Bulgaria. Skip to the part where Lana opened a wedding gift and a cobra popped out. That's a good reference. And
by the way, Sean, I'd just like to note who else was on that episode with Raccoon Reigns.
It's gonna be a rivalry. It's gonna be a feud on this show.
In any event, the next segment I found interesting was the Rollins and Finn Balor program promo battle, I guess, in a weird way. With Balor not being there, it still counts as a promo Balor in my book since they both cut promos on each other.
Right.
I thought it was well done. I thought you got Balor, who's a guy who's not necessarily comfortable in front of the large crowd yet, as we've seen, little nervous, not quite at the top of his game in the promo department in front of the live crowd. So they were able to use the fact that he wasn't there to cut a pretty decent taped promo. They alluded to the Demon. They did some really good, cool stuff with the graphics to kind of tease us, wet the whistle a little bit, if you will. But once again, I think my favorite part was Rollins' promo again. I mean, this guy's just at the top of his promo game right now. And the thing I think is so great about Rollins is he can go out there and cut a promo with humor to start, right, and then flip the switch and turn serious, dead serious, and doesn't miss a beat with it, and it comes off perfectly. Very, very talented. Very good job by him this week. And if I don't see a character named Rambo Apocalypse soon, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Next week we're getting the preview for next week is Seth addresses the Demon. Sean wants to know when we get the Demon King versus the Demon Kane. Hopefully never.
Sean must be referencing the joke I made in the award-winning 3 Up 3 Down column, where I made that same joke. And
he also says Raccoon Reigns says his rivalry with Jason will really heat up when he returns to the Rundown 15 episodes from now. Bank on it. So episode 273, we'll get Raccoon Reigns back. Hey, man, that fucker's never around.
That covered pretty much all my 3 up section. My 3 down section, I already talked about the comments during that opening segment, which I wasn't crazy about. We talked about the wedding day. Yeah. So here's my last 3 down segment. Well, before my honorable mention.
Is it Scooby-Doo? Because fuck Scooby-Doo.
No, Scooby-Doo's an honorable mention because he didn't even deserve a fucking 3 down section. Can you explain to me what the fuck Sasha Banks was thinking?
Oh, accepting the match?
No, going to the GM and asking for a handicap match with Dana and Charlotte. For those of you who missed the memo, that's the same goddamn match she lost 3 weeks ago to those same 2 people on the draft edition of SmackDown.
Yeah.
So her first play was not to go and ask for Dana to be banned, ask for somebody in her corner. No, her first thing is, hey, let me do a handicap match. And then Mick had to chime in and go, how about we do a match with you and Dana? And she can be banned if she loses? Like, this is the problem. How does this get through? This doesn't even pass basic logic. And this got through creative. All you had to do was have Charlotte and Dana sitting there bragging about how she's going to win because she's got her insurance policy, blah, blah, blah. Mick stumbles across, and then, oh, well, If you feel that strongly about it, then how about we'll make a match tonight. If Dana loses, she's banned. Boom, done, and it makes sense. Go ahead. I know you're dying to.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But we've kind of come to expect that at this point, which you'd think would be different, but hopefully. Maybe soon.
Yeah, Sal points out, what about the horrible job Charlotte and Dana did on the slap spot in that match? I was trying to forget that, but I think it was in the column too. It was just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal.
But Dana Brooke is terrible anyway,
So honorable mention in my 3 down was, and I'm quoting from the article here, the rest of Raw. So that includes Cesaro and Sheamus in the feud no one wanted to see, and much less see twice. We already touched on Sin Cara and Neville as a team. What else? Darren and Titus again, which wasn't.
Here's the part that pissed me off was they had the Mick Foley Daniel Bryan thing,
mm-hmm.
and Cesaro comes out, and then all of a sudden Mick goes, tell you what, Daniel said you're underutilized, and I have to show him that I'm using you correctly, basically. Remember last week I said that you're going to earn a title match if you beat Sheamus in that match? Well, here, let's do this. Here, you want to have Rusev right now. Just have a U.S. title match with Rusev.
Even though Rusev's fresh and you just wrestled Sheamus for 20 minutes.
Yeah. So what I tweeted was, oh, yay, let's make a match with a story for SummerSlam. And then make another match with no story and no chance of a title change for Raw.
Right. Yeah, no, it was totally. See, here's the problem, and I understand that you're on a skeleton crew because of the tour, but you're on the skeleton crew because of the tour, yet you don't find a match where you can use Charlotte as a wrestler. You could have done two women's matches. You had Seth, who you could have used in a match. You had Roman, who you could have used in a match. You could have done you did Enzo and Jericho. Why not do Cass and Owens?
Right. And that was the main event. That was the main event. A thrown together U.S. title match for no reason.
Don't sit here and tell me that you can't put on a show because you get too many guys off on this tour when you're benching Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Colin Cassidy, and Kevin Owens, and Charlotte, and not utilizing any of them. Yeah. You had them there. They were on the show, and you chose not to use them in matches. So don't tell me that you didn't have the talent, because you did. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It was just bad writing.
So that's your main event, this hastily thrown together United States Championship match with no build and no chance of a title change.
At least it wasn't Scooby-Doo versus Rusev, because
you think it was Zack Ryder in the Scooby-Doo suit? Anyways.
No, Scooby went over.
And then what also confused me is that JoJo starts doing the announcements and Rusev demands to be announced first. He's
done that a couple times now. That's like his new thing.
You're the champion. You be announced last. You're the champion. You should be proud to be announced last because you're the fucking champion.
What do you know about ring announcing?
and then at the end, after Cesaro loses, of course, Roman Reigns comes out to spear Rusev, and Rusev turns around about 5 seconds too early and just stands there at the end of the aisle going for far too long.
Yeah, but what a dick move on Roman's part. Like this didn't. That was a heel move. This didn't involve you at all. You weren't coming to make a save. You were just cheap shotting the guy.
No.
No wonder people won't cheer this guy. Look at how they write him.
Maybe they're thinking it worked for Cena. Douchebag superhero Cena. Did you hear JoJo call it the United States Championship? I like that I've ruined Sal's enjoyment of JoJo's ring announcing by pointing out the fact that she says the person's weight the exact same every time. So terrible.
You can't ruin anything JoJo does for me.
232 pounds, 157 pounds, 466 pounds. Which brings us to our next voicemail. Now that we've stopped talking about Raw. Let me go back to this. And this.
Oh, this must be Tommy. Tommy and I agree a lot more than Sal and I do, so I'm looking forward to this.
My name is Tommy Montesanti, And I am here to talk about SmackDown Live. And guys, one thing I want to say right out of the box about SmackDown Live is I can't get enough of that new SmackDown Live theme song. Wow, what a great song that is to open the show. I'll tell you, it's much better than the other song. That song is fantastic. But anyway, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what happened this week on SmackDown. We had the in-ring debut of my girl, the Princess of Staten Island, Carmella. The Princess of Staten Island by way of Worcester, Massachusetts. Which, guys, I'm throwing a flag right now on those sidebar facts. It's in her hometown of Staten Island. She couldn't find Staten Island on a map. This girl grew up outside of Worcester. So now these facts on the side are a bunch of lies? What the hell am I supposed to do about that? That being said, I like the fact that she got the win over Natalia with the Code of Silence. And I like the name of that, too. Brings back memories. Then we had, I'm skipping all around here. You guys are going to have to put up with it. Eva Marie, once again, did not wrestle, which is great, because I didn't have to see her wrestle. Her top came undone. Her titties almost flew out. They didn't, though. Next week, maybe her bottoms will come off. Who knows? Let's just keep doing that. That's the only way they're going to get money out of her. Now, as far as Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, and Bray Wyatt, everybody's saying, oh, Bray's going to get added to this match. It's going to be a triple threat. I have a much more darker outlook. I have a bad feeling Bray Wyatt is Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler's TV program. In other words, he's just being used to get to SummerSlam. He's not even going to be on the fucking card. So that's disappointing. And you know what else is disappointing? The entire tag team division, minus the Usos, came out to watch American Alpha, and I never saw, I mean, I understand all those guys are from NXT, but still, I never saw the most sorry bunch of assholes in the world as that's their tag team division. God help their tag team division. And speaking of sorry bunch of assholes, Heath Slater with his 17 kids, looking like something out of Vice City with those sunglasses on. Talking to Rhino, like, can you help me out here, brother? I got 17 kids and a above-ground pool. And you know what? He almost won, and then he lost, and then he still was going to get signed.
Oh, did it cut him off?
Looks like we hit the 3-minute mark on that one.
Oh, good. So maybe there's going to be another one with him swearing and freaking out and yelling at Google. Awesome. I love those. Those are my favorite parts of the show.
Yeah, do you want to go right to that one? We can go right to that one.
Yeah, I might as well let him finish his points.
Actually, no, it doesn't look like the next one is Sal again, so it doesn't look like he called back.
All right, cool.
So
well, then
let's
I
talk
guess
about SmackDown Live.
let's go with SmackDown. Let's get into the many ways in which Tommy and I disagree this week.
Uh-huh.
First off, the tag team thing. I liked it. I thought it was kind of cool. Yes, it wasn't great that you had 4 tag teams that necessarily haven't set the world on fire. American Alpha obviously has all the hype, but the other 3 teams in there haven't exactly set the world on fire yet. However, I think you need to rebuild this tag division. These are your guys. You need to make them look special. They looked credible. For the first time in a long time, they made the Ascension feel important. They made the Hype Bros feel important. They even made the Vaudevillains to an extent feel important. However,
Did they though?
Simon Gotch needs to never cut his T-shirt with that one strap over for the T-shirt. Like, no, it's not a good look, bro. And of course, the Usos were gone, and I do think I'm very much looking forward to an Usos versus American Alpha program. I think that's going to be really good. And there was another team that wasn't there due to injury, and I can't. It's escaping my mind at the moment. But I didn't have a problem with it.
Did they really make the Vaudevillains look good though? They
were the last ones out, weren't they? Of all
American Alpha defeats the Vaudevillains the first week, and then local talent the second week.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know.
It's not like the local talent put up a bigger fight than the Vaudevillains. The Vaudevillains got in some offense in that match.
Sal says, here's the problem with the tag team division. They haven't built anyone yet, so the crowd has zero reaction.
Well, right, but we're 2 weeks into this split. We don't have tag titles yet. We're building this division from the ground up. This was step one, and I thought it was a good job with step one. That's my point.
Right.
So he touched briefly on some of what another part that I really enjoyed, and I mea culpa on my issues last week with how they used the women. I think they did a shitty job with the women last week. I think this week it came full circle, and they did a much better job with all the women's segments this week. I thought I loved Eva Marie again being unable to wrestle, this time for the wardrobe malfunction. This is a great way of utilizing Eva. People hate her. You keep putting this off. You don't know if it's real or if she's really trying to avoid it. Like, it's brilliant booking. It's getting her even more heat, which I didn't think was possible. She's going to have nuclear heat by the time she actually wrestles. This girl is going to, there's dollar signs in this girl, whether you guys want to admit it or not. And here's my biggest issue with people killing Eva and all these other girls. I had this discussion with somebody this week. Who the fuck are you guys to tell me what the women's revolution has to be? What the exact opposite of what the women's revolution should be is all the women doing the exact same fucking thing. You should have different types of women playing different characters in different ways with different levels of skill and different strengths and different weaknesses. That's the real fucking world. That's how we had that same segment when we had Trish and Lita and that group, and that was the renaissance of women's division. We had some women that weren't so great in the ring back then. They got over in other ways. This is the same thing. There's nothing wrong with having different types of characters. My biggest complaint with the women's division was back in those Kelly Eve Torres days where all the girls wore basically the same outfit, wrestled the same kind of match. There was no individuality. There was no character behind them. They were just tits and ass in the ring bouncing around for 5 minutes. These girls are Eva, for whatever you want to say about her in-ring ability, and let's be fair, we haven't seen her wrestle live in quite a while, and I'm sure she's been putting in work and time based on everything I've heard. She might be better by now. Who knows? Or she's still working on getting better, and this is a way to keep her as a factor in the division while she improves. But wait and see how it plays out with this girl. Give her some time. Let her get some work in.
If this is covering, and I've heard other people say this, if this is covering for the fact that she's not ready in the ring yet, don't fucking bring her up. Don't bring her up.
You ever hear of character development?
Let her do that in NXT then.
Well, that doesn't. As you have seen since this translated, and the NXT crowd is not the WWE crowd.
Yeah.
That's why there's very little reaction for Finn Balor, for American Alpha. The fans of WWE are not watching NXT. So if you want to develop this character to the WWE fans, you have to do it on WWE television.
Nah. At least we got a women's match this week.
We got two.
We got two, yeah. Unlike last week where we got -2.
And Sal says on the side here, all the women's segments, are you saying that next week we will get Maurice and Miz
having it on top of Relay? Yeah, they were about to fuck on that desk. They were going to fuck on that desk.
I loved that segment.
It was pretty good.
First off, Maurice's dress, though. Worth the 2 hours of watching just for that dress. Oh, my God. But yeah, I thought they played it great. This is what those characters are. They did a great job with it. I have no issues with it. Thought it was tremendous.
I enjoyed it, and I thought Renee played it perfectly too. Just that awkwardness, like
third wheel. Yeah.
Let's go back to you guys.
It's like when you're in college and you're in that tiny dorm room and your roommate's fucking in the bed underneath, and you just gotta like kind of sit there and watch, and not watch, but maybe watch.
A little bit of Jason's college experience here.
Maybe videotape. I don't know. But yeah. So but the women's division, I thought this week, I think we've gone completely around the bend on Eva at this point, so no need to go any further with that. But then Becky Lynch issues the open challenge, which is what I thought they should have done last week, if you remember that conversation.
Becky Lynch goes through puberty issuing the open challenge.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Becky even used the phrase, "come at me, bro," which I thought was great.
She did. It was pretty
That was awesome. And the challenge answered by Alexa Bliss. And I thought this was tremendous, too, because you have another girl who you need to introduce to your audience, and you send her out in a high-profile situation with somebody who has a good reputation with your crowd. You make her look good. You give her the win. And for somebody who's supposed to be a bad guy character and is a very small woman, some credibility of getting a big win early is very important for her.
Exactly what I was thinking. I love the fact that she was the one who challenged Becky Lynch. I love the fact that they put her over. She got the victory, and I thought it was a good match and a good debut.
Yep,
so
absolutely. And then we move on. And Adam, you can attest, I have been perhaps one of the biggest critics of Natalya, certainly on this show, and probably around the internet. I've ripped her. I've said I don't think she's as good as everyone else thinks she is, and
you've called her overrated.
Yep, I still stand by that because I think she's rated way higher than her skill level would indicate, or maybe not her skill level, but her performance level.
There you go.
That said, this week she stole the show amongst the women for me. I'm absolutely willing to give credit when credit is due, and she was tremendous this week. For the first time since she's been a heel, she played a heel in the ring, played a heel well in the ring, went out there, got Carmella, carried her through a passable match, and gave her the rub of giving her the win.
Sal says that you called Cher ugly. Oh no, wait, maybe that's because there's an extra C there. Never mind. Apparently, you called Natalya ugly at some point. No.
I never called Natalya ugly. Natalya's very beautiful. I thought she was better when she had the pink stripe in her hair. I thought that was kind of hotter. But in any event, no, I thought she did a very, very good job this week. I was very impressed. Coming off last week where I didn't think she played her heel role very well, I thought she did an excellent job this week. And Carmella was okay. Carmella did what she does. Here's my only problem with Carmella.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to ditch the entrance. I think the entrance worked in NXT, but if you've noticed, they've taken away the how you do wins and all that stuff because they want to separate her from Enzo and Cass, obviously. Right. But she's still doing a similar type of entrance, but with the without the catchphrases, and it's not quite working. If she were a heel, I think it would be great. But I think coming across as a face is going to be trouble with that entrance.
Yeah, it doesn't work. No. Because for the exact points you made, they're trying to differentiate her, but still have her do it. So all the things that she was doing in that entrance in NXT that linked
Bada
her
bing,
to
hottest chick in the ring, and
exactly that linked her to Enzo and Cass, they've taken out, and they're still like, "Oh, do the shtick," and it's like, okay, but what? I got nothing left.
Right. Yeah, they need to just ditch the entrance altogether and just let her have a normal entrance.
Yeah.
And then my last
FABULOUS.
Well, God.
I was just going to say, this is my tweet from SmackDown is next week the referee's about to ring the bell and Eva's tampon falls out and she runs from the ring in embarrassment. I just wanted to
That's classy.
read that out loud.
That's
yes.
classy.
Del Rio versus Orton. Instead of doing something with Del Rio, because he's got talent and stuff, just feed him to Randy Orton as a useless build match for a meaningless match at SummerSlam.
Well, first off, he should be fed to Randy Orton just for wearing that shirt he was wearing, because that's
the scoop neck.
Yes, that was just atrocious.
Sal says, I can't believe I'm saying this because Carmella has been my bae. Don't ever say that again since day one. But Alexa is miles ahead of Carmella in ring talent and promo work.
Yes. Yep. And Alexa's hot, so I have no problem with it. I think Alexa will make some money on this level. I think she's got some. She's got the ability. I like her. Plus, I love her finisher, the Twisted Bliss. That's tremendous.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It looks great. It's got a great name. It's tremendous. Plus, that double knee spot. I think I showed it to you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. And then you posted the GIF on the Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but you touched on what was my last 3 up column this week. I loved the Randy Orton Del Rio stuff because I think they gave us 2 guys who can go in the ring. And I think they did it in a way that it furthered the storyline with Lesnar without him even being there. They told the same story from the opening promo all the way through the match. And I think that's attention to detail that they don't usually give us. So I enjoyed it. I thought the whole idea of selling the arm was amazing. I thought it did
definitely
wonders.
But I still feel like it's a waste of Del Rio, and I think there are so many things they could be doing with Del Rio.
Sure, and
he has that talent,
right? And that speaks to kind of what Tommy was talking about with Bray Wyatt too. Yes, he may not be on the SummerSlam card, but what you're doing here is you're setting him up to be the next challenger after SummerSlam for whoever walks out with the title there. Del Rio will get his time to shine. I just don't think they had a spot for him on this show, and they're focusing on the guys who they have spots for right now. When you get to that SmackDown only branded pay-per-view coming up after SummerSlam, I think Del Rio will be much more involved.
Sal says, as far as Del Rio, he's leaving when his contract is up in October, only signed him for 1 year, and reports are saying he's mad at how he's been used.
Yeah, so is CM Punk, and then he signed a new contract because they threw a bunch of money at him. I'm not... They're going out and signing Jinder fucking Mahal. You think they're going to throw a bunch of money at Alberto Del Rio to keep him there? Money talks, bullshit walks. Heath Slater was touched on. Okay.
I was just gonna talk about Baron Corbin beating up Kalisto in the back, but
that's in my 3 down section. Yeah, so it's fucking useless. I don't understand that at all.
I thought it was fine because nobody gives a shit about Kalisto anyways, but
it served no purpose. Like I said, there were again.
Yay, that's a feud.
Again, just better ways to do that. How about Kalisto's going to have a match and he doesn't come out, and instead of, and then they cut to the back and then Corbin's beating the shit out of him, and then there's some text to what actually happened. Okay. Sal made an attempt at a joke where he said, "I met my girlfriend on Jinder," but
that's Sean.
Sean, I'm sorry, but what was Sean doing on Jinder in the first place?
Swiping left,
maybe swiping right.
Speaking of that, I was going to wait until we talked about the main event, but speaking of that, we actually got retweeted by Mauro Ranallo this week during my SmackDown Live tweets because I said things I never thought I'd hear. A Tinder reference during a Bray Wyatt match. Thanks, Mauro Ranallo. And he actually retweeted that, so I'm a fan of that.
There you go. Yeah, and I know you're a fan of getting WWE stars to follow you on Twitter, so if you buy something with Chris Jericho's Amazon links, apparently he'll follow you on Twitter if you send him a picture. That was a thing that he said this week. Yeah.
You were going to talk about Heath Slater.
Yes, I thought Heath Slater was really good this week. I found him entertaining. I found him amusing. The increasing quantity of children was tremendous.
4 kids. I thought you said you had 2 kids.
I
got 7 kids and an above ground pool, and I don't need this.
Yes. Sal pointing out that you don't ever seem to want any of the Asian WWE stars to follow you on Twitter, but I think we've established at this point why that is.
I hate all of you.
Oh Jesus! So yeah, I thought Heath Slater was great. I think he's been one of the best parts of the shows the last few weeks.
Yeah. I also enjoy, and I know it's just a small touch, and it doesn't surprise me. But when he comes out, he doesn't have the Raw or SmackDown graphic. It just says, it literally is just a red box that says Heath Slater, free agent.
I like the Tommy made reference to the side plates on Carmella's gimmick there, telling us that she's from Staten Island. I thought my favorite side plates of the night was Dean Ambrose, where it said something like, "Current WWE champion will defend the title against Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam." Like, really? That's the fucking best you could give us?
Interesting.
Thanks for the fucking insight, guys. I had no idea about any of that. Likes waffles would have been more interesting.
Likes Munster cheese.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Go back on the WWE Network and watch him get reamed out by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Least favorite Disney World ride. It's a Small World.
There you go.
Yes, you watched we'll get to that. We'll get to the podcast.
It's on my list. Let's see what else did Scooby-Doo. Don't ever fucking do another Scooby-Doo segment again. You made the Miz look like a goddamn idiot. I was
gonna say, he gets over on the wrestlers. Don't fucking do that.
Not even that. You're trying to sell me that the grown-ass man who's your Intercontinental Champion is talking to this dude in a dog suit as though he's a real fucking dog.
Yep.
You made him look like an idiot.
Yep. Yes, Sean. Everyone gets a Matt fact now.
That's why Vince Russo must be writing the side plates. Oh, okay. It didn't say bro, so we know, Sal, that it was not Vince Russo writing the side plates. If it said,
I try to mention that man as little as possible on this show.
If it said defending the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, bro, then you would have known it was Vince
Zack
Russo.
Ryder.
Yes. Let's see, what else do we have? The main event. I did not have a problem with the main event. I thought the work was fine. I thought the promo was fine. It did end up in my 3 down this week, primarily because it was utterly fucking predictable, to the extent that if you go back and watch last week's show, I told you what was going to happen this week before the show ever aired.
Yeah, right. It's sad that we've got a brand split again. They're trying to do different things, and we're still getting Teddy Long specials.
Yes. It was just obvious when Eric Rowan came out and you had 2 on either side. They were going to go tag team, and I just thought,
but he super kicked him, so maybe he did it on purpose.
The super kick was a waste. It was an obvious spot, and then Dean Ambrose retaliating with the dirty deeds was obvious. I mean, a blind man would have seen all of that coming a mile away. I mean, it was just brutal. So I don't think we need to go too deep into that unless you've got any more. Did you watch that, by the way? Or
yes, I watched SmackDown.
Okay,
it's part of my 4-hour Wednesday night wrestling block.
Here's my and
Sean says Teddy Long specials. Who gets to go 1-on-1 with the Undertaker?
Or what was her name? Oksana.
The less said about Oksana, the better.
She was hot, man.
That's about it.
What is your problem with attractive women? Why do you dislike attractive women?
I never. Huh? When they can't wrestle, they piss me off.
Are you trying to make Darren Young again?
They're wasting time on TV.
Is that what's going on here? Are you doing a little Bert and Ernie? A little Bert and Ernie in the bathtub? Is that what's going on? A little Bert and Ernie? No? Okay. My honorable mention in the downs this week, and I think this is actually worth touching upon because I think it is significant. A video package, but they sent Apollo Crews on this overseas tour, and I think that was a mistake. I think you had this guy win an Intercontinental title shot out of nowhere last week, and I thought this was a big week to try to build him up and make him seem like a legitimate threat and make him seem credible, and instead now you have to accomplish all of that on the go-home episode next week. I think whoever booked him on that, or at least after they decided to go with the IC title spot, didn't move it around so that he was on TV this week, made a big mistake.
Right. We got that video package. The please cheer for Apollo Crews, please. Sal says Oksana was a better wrestler than Eva.
That's not true. Eva can do the sliced bread number 2. So,
okay, let's go to our last voicemail, which talks about NXT and the CWC. If it will play when I click the link. Thank you.
What's up, Rundown? This is Sal calling to talk about NXT and the CWC. Now, usually Tommy will kind of cover that, but seemed a little pissed off because I guess voicemail system cut him off this week. He said that he needs longer than 2.5 minutes to rant. Right?
It's 3 minutes. Get it together.
But anyway, one thing I have to say about the CWC, aside from the amazing matches, it's the little intricacy storylines they kind of throw in there. After the match between Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander, which I thought was fantastic, the NXT, or let me rephrase, the Full Sail crowd is chanting, "Please sign Cedric." And who comes out? The game himself. Gives a thumbs up, says, "Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it." Love it. Absolutely love it. Cedric Alexander in the WWE or in NXT, whatever, is money. It's a license to print money. Speaking of a license to print money, did anybody think that Nakamura was going to walk up to Joe as he's being restrained by 10 guys and grab his nose? I died laughing. That was the best shit I think I've ever seen in my life. It's who Nakamura is. He's just so charismatic. and kind of sticking with the NXT theme, listen, you have to be able to learn how to say certain things in English and make them clear. If you have one line in a promo from Japan, like Nakamura or Tommy, then practice that line and make sure that you're clear when you say it. And Asuka didn't really do that during her promo this week. I don't think anybody understood what she was saying when she said something about Bayley's dreams. Come on, you got one line. Now, I understand it's English. It's not the easiest language to learn in the world, but if she's going to get as popular as Nakamura or have a chance at the main roster, she's got to be able to pick up that English. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the CWC and NXT this week. Authors of Pain either need names or Paul Ellering's got to cut a promo for them. I mean, seriously, what the hell is the point of Ellering? He's not going to talk. Talk to you guys next week.
Anti-Asian rant from Sal. I've come to expect that from you, Adam, but not from him. I'm a little disappointed in Sal. Jeez. So where do we start?
I did hesitate to point out the same thing on NXT, but because I knew that you would accuse me of hating Asians again. But I did think the promo suffered because of Asuka's accent and English.
I thought the promo suffered. We talked about this on Twitter. Yeah. I thought the promo suffered more by the fact that Bayley can't cut a serious promo without smiling. Yeah, no, definitely. She's got to learn how to. This is not going to work on the main roster. She has to learn how to cut a serious promo. It's like that Holy Foley promo where Mick yells at his daughter for smiling while doing wrestling moves. Yeah, exactly. Same deal. I get that Bayley's enjoying it and the whole nine, but Bayley had to carry that promo, obviously. Oh yeah. No, it's exactly what I said. Like we talked about. Serious Bayley is not believable Bayley. Okay, but here's a question for you and Sal. How fucking often did you hear the Great Muta speak English in a promo? I've never seen that Great Muta promo. Okay, how did Kota Ibushi's promo go? Or Grand Metalik? You can do it. It's not a problem. Don't be hating on my foreign people. There's nothing wrong with that. So she doesn't speak English. She might down the road. Maybe she won't. Hell, Ichiro's been playing Major League Baseball for 20 years. I think I've heard him say one thing in English. Fuck that guy can still play. That's all I worry about. In a situation like that, though, where I know you're talking about Kota Ibushi and his promos during the CWC, those are all pre-recorded and subtitled. But in a situation like that where it's in the ring, you're not going to have. She should have a personal translator. That would be an awesome touch if she was really healing it up. Whatever happened to what's his nuts? The guy who was with the Great Khali. Oh, Ranjan Singh. That's his name, Ranjan Singh. Yes. Yeah. Dave Kapoor was his real name. He was actually a SmackDown lead writer. Yeah, it was writers. Yeah. Sean says, going back to the last topic, this came up during the voicemail. Eva Marie can do number 2 on sliced bread. I'd pay to eat that. Gross. I have it on good authority that we're getting a voicemail next week from Japanese Italian East Boston legend Itami Moltisanti. To which Sal replies, that guy is a legend. And Sal says, when Muta was in WCW, didn't he have Sonny Ono? I believe Sal and Sean might need their own show on this. Sal crazy. Sal had contemplated being a co-host on this show at one point, but then realized he needed headphones and a microphone, so that didn't know where to get him, so that didn't work out. So now he leaves voicemail. He's one headset and a microphone. But yeah. So we're already on NXT, so we'll do that first. Going to Samoan Shield. I agree that they need names, that's not what I said. I like the fact that they are kind of the nameless destruction, but it is really awkward when the commentators are trying to refer to which one they're talking about. The tattooed one. The one with the tattoos. Yeah. Just figure something out because it's really kind of awkward at this point. I will say I'm with Sal 100% on numbers on their backs or something. I'm with him 100% on one thing, and that is why the fuck are they even using Paul Ellering if they're not using him for the talent he has as putting guys over with him as a mouthpiece? Right. I did like his jacket though. That red jacket was fucking snazzy this week. Yeah, it was. Reminded me of Doc Ozone. But. Jesus Christ, there's a reference nobody's going to get. Okay. Shout out to Doc Ozone. Yeah, but why? I don't understand the point of having Paul Ellering out there if you're not going to let him talk and get these guys over. I understand if these guys aren't ready to cut promos by themselves, and you pair them with a Paul Ellering, who is a great mouthpiece.
Oh yeah.
But to have him come all the way down there to these tapings to stand on the outside and do nothing, they've advanced these characters not at all since they debuted them.
Right.
It is just, I mean, TM61 is plain white toast, and they've got more character development than the Authors of Pain do.
Yeah. And sadly, they were fed to the Authors of Pain this week.
It's the match nobody's been dying to see.
Yeah. Then we had Cien Almas. I don't remember who did he face? I don't remember.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Andrade Cien
Almas not gonna fucking win anyway. So
Andrade Cien Almas is undefeated here in NXT because he's had 3 televised matches since the last Takeover special.
Then this week's episode of NXT got glorious.
Yes.
Yeah, Bobby Roode comes out, interrupts him, and apparently lets us all know that his meeting that we saw wrapping up with William Regal earlier on was to set up a match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn between himself and Andrade Cien Almas. Here's my problem with this, and you've heard me since the beginning. Biggest Bobby Roode mark you're going to meet. I love the guy. I'm thrilled he's in NXT. I think his promo is tremendous. I didn't like the theme song at first. It's grown on me. I'm actually now a mark for the theme song too.
Thanks, Ciampa and Gargano.
Yes, exactly. Here's my problem. It's way too soon for either one of those guys to take a loss.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That they made the big deal about Cien Almas being undefeated, and then Bobby Roode's first match in NXT is going to be against this undefeated character.
Why don't we feed instead of Aries? Why aren't we feeding No Way Jose to Bobby Roode? Yeah. And then let's give Almas somebody else to work with. I think even an Almas Aries match would be better.
That's right. Thank you, Sal. Sal, he fought NXT's forever jobber Angelo Dawkins.
There you go.
Who, as I recall when I first started watching NXT, was Percy Watson Light.
I like Angelo Dawkins. He's got some talent, and he's survived much more than his former tag team partner Sawyer Fulton has.
Yeah.
That poor guy is just screwed. But yeah, I don't understand the booking on that match. I think neither one should be losing at this point, but obviously one of them's going to, and I would assume it's going to be Cien.
We're gonna get a double count out at Takeover, and then they're not going to touch each other until the next Takeover.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it as much as I didn't get the main event on SmackDown this week. So,
And of course, for those of you listening at home, Almost wins with the running face fuck.
The skull fucker.
The skull fucker. So Ember Moon is a Mortal Kombat character. Am I reading this correctly? Is that
No. Sort of, kind of, not really. A little bit, maybe. Hope that clears it up for you.
Okay, so clearing up the side here, Sean says Raccoon Reigns is good pals with Rocco, Paul Ellering's short-lived puppet friend. And Sal says, and Ellering needs a newspaper and aviator sunglasses when he does cut the promo.
He does need a newspaper or some rolled-up papers. It's fucking Paul Ellering.
There you go.
Jesus.
Up next, proof of how awful the last season of Tough Enough was. A guy who was eliminated halfway through is on TV before either winner.
But to be fair, let's be fair in context here. This Patrick Clark was eliminated by Hulk Hogan. Now you do the math.
Beautiful.
I don't know if he actually deserved to go. I'm just saying. No, I like Patrick Clark even on Tough Enough. I was rooting for him.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I had the same feeling as Mick Foley was when Patrick Clark got kicked off the show. I'd already given up on watching the show live at that point because it wasn't that good. But when Patrick got kicked off, I was like, oh well, fuck this. There's no point in watching anymore, and I stopped watching it at that point.
Yeah, and he's got the size, he's got the talent. He was actually working in Maryland already as a wrestler, so he had some experience. Yeah. It looks like since he's been down there, he's put on a lot more size. I don't remember him being that thick, so he's clearly working hard.
And I enjoy that he's on NXT with no gimmick whatsoever, but his pants give away that he has some sort of gimmick in the house shows, where one side's a picture of his face and the other side's a picture of a bald eagle. And his crotch is the American flag. Yeah,
for those of you who don't know, he's doing kind of a Donald Trump, make America great again, anti-immigrant kind of whole deal. But yeah, I like Patrick Clark. I'm hoping he sticks around. So
yeah, so he was teaming with Yeah. I honestly don't remember what match that was. It was a tag match. I remember that it was a tag match. That's all I got off of that one. Because it led fantastically into Samoa Joe versus Mojo Rawley. Why?
Because Joe jumped Raleigh the week before, so they were finishing up that arc. I had no problem with that. I thought it was the best Mojo has looked in quite a long time, to be completely honest with you. I thought he sold being pissed off well. I thought he worked the match like he was an angry guy looking for revenge. I thought it worked well. I think where the segment went off the rails was at the end when Joe's being restrained by the officers and Nakamura's playing a heel. I mean, realistically, the guy's being restrained by 5 people, and that's when you're choosing to fuck with them. Like, that's a heel move.
No.
It didn't make any sense to me why they chose to do it that way. And Nakamura shouldn't be a comedy character. That's the other part of it. Yeah, it was chuckle-worthy, but I don't want to see Nakamura cracking jokes. I want to see him cracking heads with those kicks.
There you go. Kinshasa!
I will take the Kinshasa over Super Kick any day. So.
Oh, Steve Carino. Sean says, Patrick Clark, that may be the lamest wrestler name ever. Give that guy a nickname or something. Patrick Clark, dull. The evil bull weevil, money.
By the way, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Were every one of Shawn Michaels' opponents huge pussies, or are the Young Bucks really bad at throwing super kicks? And the reason I ask is that Shawn Michaels put out guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart with one super kick, yet the Young Bucks need like 17 super kicks before they can pin a guy. So maybe the Ring of Honor guys are just a lot tougher. I don't know.
No, I'm gonna go with the Young Bucks are shitty.
Okay. I can get behind that idea. There's actually a lot of talk of them maybe joining the WWE when their Ring of Honor deals and New Japan deals are up. And I've never been a huge fan of the Bucks. I think they could contribute in NXT, sure. I think they'd make the tag team division interesting down there, but I never liked them, never really enjoyed them all the way back to their TNA Generation Me days. I was never a huge fan.
So you're not going to download their iPhone app?
Probably not. Only if every time I click it, they get punched in the face.
All right. So Cruiserweight Classic. We only had 2 matches this week. We talked last week about how they're going to fill the rest of the 10 shows with the end of the tournament, given that they can't do 4 shows and 4 matches per episode. This week we got 2.
Yeah, they're back to 3 next week. So,
but they are back to 3 next week. But there were 2 really good matches. So we had Grand Metalik versus Tajiri. I was one round off on when Tajiri gets eliminated, and Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander.
And holy shit! I went out there and wondered how you were going to top Gargano and Ciampa from last week, and these guys. I mean, Cedric Alexander was just absolute money in this match. Complete, and of course the ending, which I'm sure we'll get to later. And I'm jumping ahead because I know Grand Metalik and Tajiri, and they put on a good match. I enjoyed Metalik and Tajiri. Clearly overshined by the main event.
Oh, clearly.
Not through any fault of their own, just through the amazingness of Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander's match.
There was honestly a point in that match where I thought maybe they were going to give it to Cedric. Like they hooked me in so bad. I was like, well, maybe Kota does get eliminated.
Here's the problem: I didn't watch it live,
which I love when that happens.
I didn't watch it live, and I ended up going to a website, and they had on a big fucking tagline: "Ibushi advances," and motherfucker, like you can't put spoilers until it's at least 24 hours since it aired.
I'm getting that on my phone now with the Olympics going on. I'm getting, updates from ESPN of things that are airing during prime time tonight. And I'm like, oh, well, fuck, now I don't need to watch that. Okay.
Do they have an app that sends you updates when Asians lose events in the Olympics?
Sometimes you just stretch that joke a little too far to where it doesn't make sense.
I thought that made perfect sense, but whatever.
Could be that I just hate that joke because I do.
That's possible.
Anyway.
As much as you hate Asians?
Anyway. Grand Metalik versus Tajiri was fantastic. Thankfully, Metalik did not lose his mask on the finish this time. And Tajiri's still putting on a hell of a fight at whatever age he is.
And Tajiri signed, so I think we can expect him to be part of the cruiserweight division when it launches on Raw for no fucking reason.
Yeah. Apparently they have commissioned a new cruiserweight championship. All the rumors are that instead of the giant trophy that they're showing in all the shots of the bracket, the winner is going to be named the cruiserweight champion.
Well, that's what they've said, but I think going from the beginning, we'd all kind of assumed Ibushi was going to be the winner, but apparently from what I'm hearing now, he's not actually signed to an actual deal. So, he's agreed to do some NXT shows and the Cruiserweight Classic, but he hasn't yet signed a deal. And if that's the case, they're not going to put the title on somebody who's not signed. Right,
absolutely, 100%. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But I am looking forward to it. I'm very glad that the finale is live on the 14th of September, because I was actually thinking about that last night. I was like, how would they have to do that live to avoid spoilers, and they are. So good move.
Here's the question, and I haven't seen how the brackets shake out, but if the finals end up being Ibushi versus Tozawa, what are you going to do? Who do you root for? A run-in?
Ass.
I threw you all off your game there, didn't I? Jeez.
Can I just go back like 6 episodes and tell myself not to fucking do that so that we can stop having this goddamn joke? Anyway.
Everybody but you enjoys the joke, Adam.
I can't imagine why. Anyway, Sal says I've turned into a logo. I can see myself fine. Maybe it's your computer, Sal. Anyway.
I can see it too.
Yeah, so Metalik advances. Good for him.
Yes.
Then we get, again, like you said, thought we could not top Gargano versus Ciampa from last week. If they didn't top it, they came really fucking close.
Yeah.
Alexander versus Ibushi. Maze balls. Again, they keep talking about 20-minute time limit, 20-minute time limit. If they go to a time limit draw at some point, I'm going to be fucking pissed. But incredible match between the two. All kinds of amazing near falls. And
there's your finish for Tozawa versus Ibushi. Time limit draw. They both get fucking eliminated
in the finals. Yeah. Oh no, we don't have a cruiserweight champion. Sorry about that. Tune in next year for the next cruiserweight classic tournament.
Just find a white guy to give it to.
Would I rather have Jason call me Stumpy every week? Yes, I would.
I'm gonna do that anyway, so that's okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't make a fucking difference. But yeah, and then we get the curtain call to end all fucking curtain calls.
Yes.
Cedric Alexander crying his eyes out because he's amazing. Crowd is cheering. Crowd is chanting. Crowd begins chanting, "Please sign Cedric. Please sign Cedric." And who should appear from the back but the man who has the power to sign Cedric? Shakes his hand, brings him to the back. So I think maybe.
And I'll tell you what, I've been dying to see how they were going to reintroduce Triple H since that loss at WrestleMania. Why the fuck? Look, I read about this moment, and I knew it was going to be. I knew it had happened. Why the fuck air this on TV? I mean, it was a great moment to see. Don't get me wrong, but for kayfabe purposes, we literally have not seen Triple H since WrestleMania. His first time we see him back is in a complete throwaway moment at the end of a show.
But for kayfabe purposes, you had him get destroyed by Roman Reigns at whatever pay-per-view that was, and then show up.
Right, and I didn't like that either.
3 days later to open a takeover special.
Sure, and he got roundly panned for that, and well deservedly so.
So I'm okay with it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice peek behind the curtain. I would say probably a shoot, probably not planned at all. And I'm okay with it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It was a great touch to end the show on. I thought.
I'm assuming that Sal's comment on the side here is meant to be sung to the theme of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Do you want to do the honors then?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna. Okay.
It's instead of Rudolph, it's Stumpy the racist podcast host. So somebody out there musically inclined should really do that.
It works if you include the other part too. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Anyway.
So outside of the CWC, we also had this week the Austin and Ambrose podcast because we haven't had enough fucking wrestling this week. Let's throw another hour of podcast talk.
And you already covered the one news story that I had from this week. So
yeah, and I don't know. You said you haven't seen the podcast yet.
I haven't.
It was easily one of the worst Austin podcasts so far. Ambrose not particularly good in that setting. Ambrose continuously trying not to kind of break out of kayfabe, and Austin continuing to try to get him out of there. It made it contentious in a couple different spots. Ambrose really rambled on incoherently at several points. Some of the facials on Austin as he's trying to listen and understand what Ambrose was saying were great.
Wait, what the fuck kind of podcast was this?
Yeah. Then at one point it did get interesting towards the end because Austin asked him what he was thinking about as he walked through the curtain at WrestleMania. He's got, big ass Brock Lesnar standing in there. You're about to go to war with him, yada, yada, yada. Ambrose at this point decides to inform us all that he was pissed off because he had been planning this great, tremendous match with all these moments and memorable spots and yada, yada, yada. And Lesnar was lazy and didn't want to do anything. So he's like, we went out there, we hit each other with a couple weapons. He suplexed me a bunch of times. And that was pretty much it.
So we're gonna stay in kayfabe until this one moment.
Yeah. And we talked about finding out later after the fact that Undertaker didn't want to do the job to Shane, and that's why the booking made no sense and it kind of cleared up the logic there. I thought this cleared up a lot of why that match fell so flat. And I read somebody else who posted the idea and the notion, and it actually makes perfect sense that at that point, Lesnar may have already made up his mind to go back and do the UFC and wasn't going to risk doing anything crazy that would get him hurt in that WrestleMania match. So he didn't want to do anything and work with Ambrose. Yeah. And the result was the very boring, unremarkable match we got. And apparently they pissed Dean off.
That Ambrose should have won. But anyways.
At one point, Stone Cold asked Ambrose, what is your relationship with Vince? And without missing a beat, Ambrose said, I'm his favorite wrestler. Which I thought was great. It was very nice. What else do we have? And then at the end of the podcast, Austin said, I'm going to challenge you, blah, 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 blah. I feel like you're kind of sitting there and resting on your laurels and yada, yada, yada. And Ambrose got a little pissed off and took exception to that. Which I found interesting because you got this WWE podcast on the WWE Network. I mean, it's Austin's podcast, but it's on the WWE Network, where one of the legends of your business is sitting there and openly kind of chastising your world heavyweight champion, which wasn't necessarily the best look.
Mm-hmm. Sal says, I enjoyed the Ambrose podcast. Jason just doesn't like white people.
I love white people.
He's trying too hard.
Yeah, that's definitely a stretch. You just I don't like Ambrose, so I'm not a huge Ambrose fan. I think we've established that on this show throughout my many appearances.
We just need to say this. Nobody on this show is racist. God damn it.
Neil! Can we say that really?
Mm-hmm.
Can we really say that?
Maybe Troy.
No. I like how you tried to deflect that there. Hashtag Adam hates Asians.
I hope you can see this because I'm doing it as hard as I can.
In my defense, you are German. Yeah, that said,
I don't know. The Germans and the Japanese got along pretty well. Anyway,
we have a big debut apparently, and I'm sure it's probably either already happened or it's happening as we speak. But on Impact this week, they're teasing a big debut of a big time star.
Who could it possibly be?
Well, here's the thing. If you watch the video clip, they played the Hallelujah a la Damian Sandow,
Jesus
which kind of gave it away. But then, me being involved in the business, of course, immediately jumps to, well, it's a swerve. It's going to be Ryback. So I guess we'll find out. I don't know. I thought Sal was going to fill us in. I thought he had TNA going in the background. He's going to tell us who it was. No, but it sounds by all accounts it's going to be Ambrose. Not Ambrose. Aaron Stevens. And I think that's going to be a huge pickup for TNA. I think if he's used right, he could be big money for them and exactly what that company needs to kind of move into the next generation. Here's the thing with TNA, and they get a lot of crap, and I've been known to give them my fair share of crap too. Broken Matt Hardy, brilliant. I think that's mostly Matt Hardy. But if you watch TNA, they've got interesting characters. They've got guys that when they're on the screen, you want to watch them. You don't want to turn away. Guys like Eli Drake. guys like EC3, guys like Drew Galloway, guys like Bobby Lashley. So they have a good roster down there. I think their biggest problem, and Mike Bennett, I don't want to sell Mike Bennett short, and I think their biggest problem is just their creative doesn't know how to use these guys. So they're getting over in spite of what they're being given. So we'll see. I mean, for example, last week they've been building towards this big confrontation between EC3 and Drew Galloway. And they're both in the tournament to see who gets to face off with Lashley at the pay-per-view. And EC3 wins his match. And then Drew Galloway loses his match. So you go to the finals with EC3 and Mike Bennett. And they've been building Mike Bennett for a title shot forever. And they've got EC3 programmed for Drew Galloway. And they put EC3 over. So now he's not fighting Drew Galloway. Now he's going to fight Bobby Lashley at the pay-per-view. And Mike Bennett's left holding his dick. I guess you can make the case that, hey, they didn't do what you thought they were going to do, so it wasn't predictable. Sure, but it also wasn't good. And
we've talked about that on the show before with a few pay-per-views ago. Predictable is not always bad.
Yeah, no, unpredictable is good if what the payoff is good. That's the problem. Right. They're also doing a gimmick right now where Bobby Lashley's just winning all the titles. So he's got the X Division title, he's got the World title. He's facing James Storm tonight for the King of the Mountain title. I'm going to go on a limb and spoiler alert, he's probably going to win that title. And
he's going to hold the tag team titles by himself.
Probably. And then you're going to go into a pay-per-view where you have one guy, he's either going to defend all the titles in one match, you're only going to have one title defended, or he's going to have 5 different matches on the card. And I'm not a fan of any of those scenarios.
Mm-hmm. No, Sal says, at a legend ripping on a new era WWE champion? Are you talking about Bret Hart? Fortica.
No, actually, the funniest part about me is as I'm watching this Dean Ambrose Dolph Ziggler program play out, I'm thinking of myself, okay, so what we have right here is second-rate Stone Cold versus second-rate Shawn Michaels. All right, let's roll. Or should I say second-rate Brian Pillman? I don't know. I don't think he's really Stone Cold. But and my last big note here, and it's big, I guess, as a relative term. Oh, I got two more. I'm sorry. We had this week ESPN.com opened a WWE section on their website, which is kind of a interesting note in history because it's not something you ever thought you'd see on ESPN.com.
Right.
Despite the relationship they've had, but they've got a podcast up there. They've got, news stories. I don't know how up to date. They're apparently doing SmackDown and Raw recaps and reviews because they clearly fucking ripped off Troy's idea from the QuestNetwork.com. But Troy kind of left that hanging after week 1. I guess he lost interest, as a lot of us did in SmackDown and Raw after week 1.
Sal says just FF.
Was that?
I don't know what that
fast
means.
forward?
I guess so.
What are we fast forwarding through?
No idea.
The rest of this podcast?
Yeah, apparently.
And then
that does it for the
theme song. I don't know if you saw any of the beef this week between The Rock and Vin Diesel. It was kind of out there.
I didn't see that.
Yes. So apparently, all right. So yeah, Sal is confirming it is Damian Sandow, aka Aaron Stevens, that appears on Impact. So I'm gonna go upstairs and check that out after I get off of here.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yeah, so apparently The Rock posted something on his Instagram, which is maybe like a picture or video clip from filming of the movie Fast 8. And the tagline says something along the lines of, it's been great working with so many of my talented female co-stars. And essentially, to summarize, but some of my male co-stars are diva bitches and don't want to do work. So, of course, this prompted a bunch of TMZ, blah, 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 to jump on trying to figure out who it is. And apparently they came to the conclusion that it's Vin Diesel, who apparently is a little difficult to work with. And they have 8 a.m. call times, and he's a producer, and he decides to push them back to 10 a.m. And for a guy who has the drive of The Rock, that, as you can tell, the guy, I don't know that if he even sleeps anymore. But I can see where that would get on him. Apparently the producers, everybody involved in the movie, put the two of them in the room. They tried to get some resolution. They didn't really get along. They were able to get through finishing the movie, but apparently little Twitter beef or a little hostility between the People's Champ and Triple X.
Interesting. I was just trying to see if I can find the post on Instagram, but it may not be there anymore.
Yeah, he may have taken it down. So join us next week for another episode of Adam Scrolls Through His Instagram feed.
Not mine, The Rock's. Nobody gives a shit about my Instagram. Anyway.
And Sean makes a great point. Rock versus Vin Diesel at WrestleMania. Let's do it. I'm on board.
No, it'd have to be WrestleMania 34 because WrestleMania 33 is already Big Show versus Shaq.
It's gonna have 2 celebrity matches. I will say this. I don't know if you saw the pictures, but Big Show's gotten himself into some shape.
Apparently, Sal says they named Sandow Aaron Rex and spelled it Aron. Aaron.
Well, then I won't be watching that.
Aaron Rex.
I love Aaron Stevens. I'm a big fan of Aaron Stevens. The guy might just need to shoot himself in the head, truthfully, because no matter where he goes, nobody's going to use him right, apparently. I don't know what it is. Like, if you were him and you had gone through what you went through at the WWE and you were going to sign with TNA, here's what I'm going to be called. Here's what I'm going to wear. Here's what I'm going to do. Otherwise, go fuck yourself. I'll make my money on the indies. If that's true, if that's really what it is, and I hope Sal's just fucking with us on this, but if that's true, I'm really irritated.
Hey, let's go to 411 and look at the TNA Impact recap.
Well, let's not do that because then you're gonna spoil the rest of the show for me, asshat.
Okay. I'm just gonna go to the end of it here. It's not up here yet. They haven't refreshed yet. Anyway. All right. Oh, there it is. Yes, the former Damien Sandow debuts. Aaron Rex. Yep. Aaron Rex. So that's good.
Yeah, I will credit this, and this is something they haven't always gotten credit for in the past, but WWE has taken more so towards letting guys come in with their own names that they've established and made some money with. Guys like Bobby Roode, guys like Aaron Young, guys like Shinsuke Nakamura, Austin Aries. They're coming in now. They're not changing their names anymore. They're Samoa Joe. They're letting them have their names, and there's so much value in that. I hate when these companies, particularly TNA, tries to rename these guys after they've got some credibility with a particular name. It's just horrible.
Please welcome Darren Stindo. Don't ask questions. Sean says the Aaron Rex feasted on woolly mammoths during the Cretaceous era.
I hope he's feasting on a lot of dollars. That's the only thing that
I mean, Rex is Latin for king.
I love Aaron. I hope it all works out well for him. I hope he's at the top of the card and winning championships there and making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. He's a nice guy, but geez, God, poor the guy can't catch a break in terms of creative. But
is it a better or worse name than No Way Jose? Because if there's one name that screams, I'm never going to win a championship, it's No Way Jose.
See, now that I disagree though, because No Way Jose has a lot of room for a heel turn where he drops the no way and goes, listen, I'm not a dancing monkey, blah, blah, blah. My name's Jose, whatever the fuck.
That's fine. And that's not what I'm talking about. That's a change of gimmick. The gimmick Way Jose is the shit.
No Way Jose gimmick has room to change. If you're just telling me the guy's name is Aaron Rex and that's it, there's no wiggle room. There's no obvious escape point for that.
I see what you're saying. Sal's on your side. Could have just called him Aaron Stevens and no one would have blinked an eye.
Exactly, and he would have made you more money that way because you're going to tell me, my friends are going to tell me tomorrow, Aaron Rex was on Impact, and I'm going to be like, who? Yeah. Oh, fuck, whatever. And if you tell me Aaron Stevens was on there or Damien Sandow, all right, well, that's something I might want to go check out.
Mm-hmm. All right, I've got nothing else.
I don't know if you haven't seen the season 3 trailer for Lucha Underground, go seek it out. It was very well done. Apparently they're doing like 40 weeks in a row, so they've already filmed most of it. Very impressive.
Sean says, what's Steve and Aaron doing in the Impact Zone? Somehow we made it an hour and a half, and we haven't had Jason talks about other podcasts. So I don't know what happened this week. You dropped the ball. But,
well, there were a lot I could talk about. Just, do you want me? If you want me to, I can.
I did go back and forth with Brian Malonis on Twitter during watching SmackDown because Mauro Ranallo called Dean Ambrose the Kingpin.
Yeah, well, he's done that a few times now, and on their podcast, the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing. Boom! There you go. Right at the end, snuck it under the wire. Mike Crockett's been giving him a bunch of crap about it too. So I will have to give the APW Heavyweight Champion, the Kingpin Brian Malonis, a little bit of crap when I see him. August 20th, when APW returns to the APW Arena in Newbury, Massachusetts. See that seamless plug?
Sal says, wait, Jason, do you get the El Rey Network?
I do get the El Rey Network, yes.
There you go, Sal. That was a
Charter carries El Rey. And in the event that you don't get the El Rey Network, go to El Rey's YouTube page, and they post a good chunk of their Lucha Underground content on there, complete all the way back to season 1.
I tried to watch it, but for some reason, back when it first started airing, but my DVR would only record the Spanish language version and not the.
You would like it. There's a lot of Mexicans, but no Asians yet, so you're in. Like
that does it for the rundown for this Thursday, August 11th, 2016. 354 days since the New Day won the WWE Tag Team Championship. By the way, they mentioned Demolition on SmackDown this week.
Yeah, I get the feeling Michael Cole was sick of getting Twitter comments.
Are they going to break Demolition's record? They mentioned it on.
No, they're losing at SummerSlam.
For a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial, go to audibletrial.com/rundown. Atlantic Pro Wrestling returns Saturday, August 20th. Lucky Pro Wrestling is part of the Balloons and Blues Festival at the Elks Lodge in Hudson, Mass. on Saturday, August 20th. Start time of that show is noon o'clock. And Liberty States offer for the summer returning in October. Elkmania 4, which I still haven't put on the list here, is September 24th. Stump Trivia every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. at the Port Tavern in Newburyport, Massachusetts. Come on out. Follow us on Twitter at Rundown Podcast. Send us an email to rundownwrestling@gmail.com or call the hotline 617-863-6967 61 Rundown 7. Like us on Facebook. Tell your parents and your grandparents to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/rundownwrestling. Watch archived episodes at youtube.com/rundownpodcast and circle me on Google Plus at google.com/+AdamRundownHost. If you wish to make a donation of the monetary variety, we would gladly appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. It is paypal.me/rundownwrestling. This show costs me $10 a month to host on Podomatic. If you want to help with that, I'll mention you. I'll talk about you and say how wonderful you are.
He will even fillet you.
If you're hot enough. If you like poetry, check out Chasing Distant Horizons at tinyurl.com/distant horizons. And check out
poetry.
Check out all the shows on the Questionable Endeavor Network. Shadowvane at shadowvane.net and patreon.com/shadowvane. I was a guest voice in the most recent whatever they call it, Epic Tales of Horror. What do they call it? There was a nice story that I had a part in it with that on the most recent episode. Geek and Gamer Guild featuring Troy. That's available on iTunes and Stitcher. Tooning Japanese.
Am I correct in my understanding that the casting director for Shadowvane bypassed all the hosts on the Quest End network this season?
It's possible. I auditioned and didn't get a main part. I do have an audition packet in my email for
that would be kind of a dick move. I'm just saying.
Hey man, you got to go with the best.
It's also a power move, but still.
I was the main character in season 1, so I don't begrudge. Tooning Japanese featuring Andy, Bill, and Josh, and the Raw Attitude Podcast featuring our friend Henry Hugepex, the suplex throwing human duplex.
Episode 19 coming out this week or Monday at the latest, featuring a guest star whose we've already said name starts with TR, so you can do the math.
Yeah, somebody from the Quest End Network whose name starts with TR. Who could it be?
Tron Rex. Tron Rex is the guest host.
Tron Rex. But that's episode 19. That's on Monday. Check that out on iTunes and Stitcher and SoundCloud. And check out links to all the podcasts and all the episodes. Check out the articles. Check out the forums at questendnetwork.com. Follow the Questionable Endeavor Network at Quest End Network.
Including the award-winning
3 Up, 3 Down.
3 Down.
Search for us on iTunes, Stitcher, or Podomatic under the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. If you subscribe, the podcast is delivered to you absolutely free each and every week for $0.00. If you cannot afford a monetary donation, leave a 5-star review on iTunes because that helps other people find us. If you leave a text review, we'll read your name and your review at the end of a future episode.
And if I may for a second, Adam, and then this is just in benefit of our fellow podcasters out there. People, I understand everyone has their thing and they want to kind of be dicks to each other, and it's cool. Another podcast that I listened to recently had somebody go and create like 20 or 25 different accounts and give them all 1-star ratings and bring their really good rating down. That's a serious dick move. Come on, people. You're better than that.
This has been a public service announcement from Jason.
Well, seriously, come on. That's not a dick move. If somebody did that to you,
No, that's totally a dick move.
Like, if anyone out there thinks that's funny, it's not. You're just a cock. Stop it.
Thanks to Tegan Brown for the logo. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to Sean and Sal and Jason's wife on the side.
And Jackson on the text.
Thank you, Jason.
We didn't ever talk about sexual chocolate. He's going to be pissed. They started chanting that when we were at the live show in Worcester, and he was like, "Why are they calling Mark Henry sexual chocolate?"
Well, boy, there once was a time. When you're older, I'll show you footage on the WWE Network.
You're a man.
Penis.
That's why they call
and thanks.
Baby.
And
who says the WWE can't positively represent LGBTQ community?
At ifightdragons.com for the theme song. Next week, Takeover and SummerSlam predictions, yo. That's what we'll be doing.
Theme song!
You're late.
Why aren't we doing a theme song out?
We do, but you missed it.
I missed it. You just telling them what we're doing next week, so you couldn't. You're just messing with me now.
No, but the theme song starts before that. The theme song starts when I thank I Fight Dragons, and I say theme song.
When you thank I Fight Dragons for what?
Theme song.
For the theme song!
My apologies
Fuck
to
you,
everyone.
I won't do what you tell me.
My apologies to everyone.
Me.
My apologies to everyone wearing earbuds for that. As always, Jacob, good night and good luck. Breezong, go fuck yourself.
That's it. That's the other team that wasn't represented on SmackDown this week. Where the fuck was Breezango?
Good question. I'm glad I could.
That was who I couldn't think of. The Usos and Breezango. Yeah, we should talk about this.
Take care, Bulby Faces. This is going to be fun to fucking edit together.
It's like you're going to edit anyway. You're going to throw the whole fucking thing together. Although I did like the random drop-in of me at the end of last week's episode. That was a nice touch.
It wasn't a random drop-in. It timed out perfectly. It literally timed out perfect. I didn't even have to touch it. Theme song stopped. Oh, I should stop recording.
I can't wait till you go back and hear the stuff I said when you couldn't hear me.
Yeah.
I think my favorite moment in this whole Adam Hates Asians thing, this gimmick I got going, I think my favorite moment was when you were talking about the podcast, and I'm like, Adam's new podcast, Hating Japanese. That might have been my favorite part. Actually, it was probably when I wasn't even on the show and you did the horribly offensive Asian accent and played right into the gimmick.
That's what started the gimmick. And I immediately regretted it. And I said that on the text message, and you fucking ran with it. You're a dick.
I am a dick. I'm not going to deny that. Was it 258?
Yes. This is the part of the show where I have to go and bring up the voicemail transcripts.
I thought this was the part where you call me a dick.
But what? That's the entire show. What are you talking about?
That's true.
This one, oh, that sucks. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. I got worried there for a
Oh,
second.
well, why, before you read the text messages, let's turn on Skype.
I have Skype on.
Okay.
There it is. It just made the noise. Okay.
So if you're an Olympic brass medalist, is that from playing the rusty trombone?
All right.
Sorry, I've been waiting to say that one for a while. I kept forgetting. I happened to look down.
Hey, what's up, Rundown here? It had today to talk to you about Monday Night Raw. To start off, I really don't like the new theme songs for you to show they are terrible. They are literally possibly the worst theme songs they've never had to open Raw, open Slacker. You know, especially SmackDown. They should have left that one alone. I know it was time for a new rock song, but I actually enjoyed the SmackDown song. But we start off with an amazing promo battle between Enzo and Cass and Jericho and Kevin L. And as much as I'd like to see Kevin over the phones elevated this year, it is going to be a lot of fun. Just for the promos alone. You know what all those guys can talk, you know, obviously, and that's got the gift of gab, but I really enjoyed it. What was it that? I enjoyed. Well, I enjoyed. Yeah. And also, I think Eric is doing some really great work. But will mustache and beard he's got going on with the scarf kind of looks like short-haired? One date and English, he's being hilarious. It's funny on a show that they said that the shower was underutilized. He was featured. Why did
the shower was underutilized? That might be the moment right there.
Skype opened and then quit. What the fuck happened there? That was weird.
Yeah, it's updating. Mine's doing it too. By the way, eat a dick, Skype. Good timing, asshats. Sorry, go ahead.
He was featured prominently into pretty good time to matches, so good to him, at least Daniel Bryan, with there when Daniel Bryan had mentioned and Mick Foley had said that they're not going to end day to be more of that was it. So maybe that buttons that up. The wedding segment went on way too long. Glad Lana got cake over face, but we're all was okay. I mean, next week is the go home, so we'll see what happens next week. I didn't know that half the roster was overdoing a foreign show, so that's why there was no sim using That's Why I Send Bala. Wasn't there, although. I did enjoy it, and Beller sitting on his throne reading his Irish meds, that actually was some of the best shit I've ever seen during $10 since he's been in America. Other than that, I'm sure it's on me we'll call and talk about tonight down, and then maybe one of us will call and talk about that experience EWC, but I'll talk to you guys next week.
The shower is underutilized is definitely your go-to so far of that one. Wow, there's no shame in their game in the preseason.
My name is Tony Lopez, and I am, the talk about SmackDown. Bye. Thank God one thing. I want to say right Autobox aspect on life. I can't get enough of that You Specked Out Life keeps on. Wow, what a great song that is hoping to show. I'll tell you, it's much better than the other song. That song is fantastic. But anyway, wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what happened this week on SmackDown. We had the ring debut of my girl, the Princess of Staten Island. How Bella's the Princess of Staten Island, by the way, of Worcester, Massachusetts, which does not go to flag right now on the sidebar. Fax it said home down Staten Island. She couldn't find Staten Island on it. Matt, this room is gross outside of stuff. So now these facts on the side, or but the life, what the hell am I supposed to do about that? That being said, I like the fact that she got the way over to tell you with the code of silence, and I like the name of that, so brings back memories. Then we had of skipping, all right? Yeah, you guys didn't have to put up with it, Eva. Marie, once again, did not raffle, which is great, and I don't have to see original her top. Came undone, her titties almost full out. They didn't go next week. Maybe her bottom. So come on, who knows? Let's just keep doing that. The only way they're going to get money out of her. Now, as far as Dean Ambrose told Ziggler, in pre-Wyatt, everybody's saying no price going to get added to Dispatcher, going to be Triple Trent. I have a much more darker outlooking. I have a bad feeling, Great Wyatt. It's Dean Ambrose, it's Dolph Ziggler's TV program and otherwise. He's just being used to get to SummerSlam. He's not even going to be on the fucking God. So that's disappointing, and I know else is disappointing. Entire tech team division. 2, so I came out to watch American Alpha, and I never thought. I mean, I understand all of those guys from an XP, but still I never saw the most. Sorry, bunch assholes in the world as a nest at stand tagging division. God help Dad tag team division. It's picking a sorry bunch of assholes, seats laid out with his 17 kids looking like something out of White City with my sunglasses on, talking the right away. Could you help me out here, brother? I got 17 kids and a prompt from Pool, and you know what he is supposed to? One, and then he was, and then he's still one thing.
Yeah, still the shower's underutilized. Or the titties line.
What's up, Brian? This is Sal calling to talk about an XP, and CWC usually tell me what kind of cover that, but seems a little pissed off because I guess voicemail system cut them off this week. He said that he needs longer than 2 out of 2 minutes of rent rate. I talked to get it on podcast. But anyway, one thing I have to say about the CWC, aside from the amazing, amazing match, it's a little intricacies storylines. They can throw in there after the match between Kotobuki and Cedric Alexander, which I thought was fantastic. But NXT, or let me rephrase, the Full Sail crowd is changing. Please sign Cedric. And who comes out? The GM self, because it comes up, says, yeah, how are, but I will take care of it. Love it. I absolutely love it, Cedric Alexander and the WB or in NXT. Whatever is money as a license to print money. You know the license to print money. Did anybody think that Nakamura was going to walk up to Joe as he's being restrained by 10 guys and grab his nose? Died laughing. That was the best shit I think I've ever seen in my life, but it's who Nakamura is. He's just so charismatic and kind of sticking with the NXT scene. Listen, you have to be able to learn how to say certain things in English and make them come later. If you have one line in a promo and you're from Japan, like knock, Mr. or Tommy, then practice that line and make sure that you're clear when you say it, and it didn't really do that during her promo this week. I don't think anybody understood what you were saying when some point. You said something about Billy Streets. Come on. You know one line. I understand Singlet Stop, the easiest language for in the world, but if she's going to get as popular as not tomorrow or have a chance to main rosters to be about pick up that English, and other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the seat of you. See you next to you this week. What does a pain either need names or pull out? He's going to come promo for them. I mean, seriously, what the hell is YR's? It's not going to talk. Talk to you guys next week. There we go.
Yeah, the shower's underutilized is definitely your go-to.
Look, you're on Skype. I've got Zap Brannigan behind me, and I'm not sure why.
It's the voice actor that plays that Brannigan reading Donald Trump quotes.
Is that Billy West? Yeah, that's Billy West.
Yes,
all right.
and it is everything.
Apparently, it's everything. With that said,
it's no glorious bomb.
Good night, YouTube. Good night, Google.
Peace.
Sleep well. I'll see you next week.